Hey guys! Today I have a tutorial for you, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to sew a very simple bag or pouch for your tablet. Now let me show you what I mean. Here is my tablet. It's a Samsung Galaxy Note 8.0 and it's a really nice tablet. Now tablets come in different sizes and it doesn't matter what size your tablet is, you can still make this pouch. But why do you need a pouch? Since if you can see here, I already have a cover. I have a front cover here, and then I also have a back cover. Now the reason why I need the pouch, why I want to have a pouch, is this. I have various openings here, and the sides are open, as you can see here. There's the headphone jack right there, and even at the bottom, there are little places where to put various things. And dirt and dust can easily get in through there, and since this is, as you can see, it's a very flabby cover, so anything can go inside there, and I want to keep my tablet clean and functioning, and I don't want dirt or dust there, but I always put this in my bag when I go somewhere. You know, dirt and dust, they tend to gather in your bag, and from your bag they tend to go into your tablet. So this is the reason why I want to make a pouch. Let me show you one pouch that I already made. This is a super simple project. Even beginning seamstresses or guys who sew can make this. I made this pretty snug, as you can see here. It's a pretty snug one, so it doesn't really very easily drop out of there. And it fits there very nicely, and it's a very simple thing, as you can see. So I put it in here, and then I put this in my bag, and I know that my tablet is protected from dirt and dust. So let's get started. We'll start the project as usual, checking what we need for this project. Now the first thing obviously that you need is fabric. Here I have the fabric that I intend to use for this second pouch that I'm making here. This is cotton fabric, and cotton is a really good choice for this because you want your fabric to be sturdy fabric. Silk might look really nice, but I wouldn't choose it because it's not sturdy enough. So I like to use linen fabric. This is a very cute linen fabric. As you can see, it has these cute little pink flowers and white dots. It's very nice. So I'm going to use this one. Then I use some batting. Now you can get this in fabric stores, in craft stores, just like filler fabric that, for example, quilters use a lot. And there are different types of batting. My batting is not very thick. I have thicker batting too, but I think this is just fine, this kind of batting. So some batting. That's actually all you need, except for the usual sewing thingamajigs, like a sewing machine. You will need some pins, good pair of fabric scissors, or a fabric cutter, something to mark the fabric with, and something to measure with. And of course you will need thread and various thingamajigs like that. But just, you know, basic sewing thingamajigs you will need. So now that you know what you need, let's get on to the actual sewing. So let's start making our pouch. And the first step in making this is cutting the fabric. Now, this is an easy project because you don't need a pattern, and you can do this for any size of tablet. But let's start off by how to cut your fabric. Now, the way that I do it is I place my tablet on my fabric, and I leave about maybe a little over an inch on each side. So as you can see, I leave quite a lot, and that is simply in order for me to have enough room to work with. And you can leave less if you want to, but this is really good for beginners. You don't have to worry about having too small seam allowances or anything like that. So that's why I always leave about an inch there. And when you're done that, your tablet is there. Then I've simply taken my fabric and I have folded it on top of that, made sure that the top here matches, and then I have cut it off right from there. And that's how you can do it. Just make sure that you have about an inch on all sides, except for the bottom, obviously, because this is a pouch. You don't need any room here. So about an inch here on the both sides and here on the top. And the next step after this, now that my tablet is in there, let me put my camera down so that you can see what I'm doing here. You need your pins here. And what I'm going to do is I am going to do a little bit of folding here. So as you can see, I'm folding a very small amount here. I don't really know how much this would be in inches, maybe like 1/4 of an inch or even less. But as you can see, it's a very small amount. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this like this on both sides. I'm going to pin it with some pins. And then I'm going to go to my, my ironing board and I'm going to iron this. Just press this so that it stays like this. So the pins are here simply to keep it like this, but if you don't have to use pins, you can just go to your ironing board and you can fold a little bit here from the top. So let me do that now and then I'll come back to you. Okay, so what I've done here is I have pressed these with a hot iron. So as you can see on both sides, I've done that. And the next step, I still have my tablet in here. And just a word of warning, when you do this and you go to your ironing board, make sure that you don't just grab this fabric here because your precious tablet might drop onto the floor. So be careful as you handle that. Because sometimes you might forget that you still have your tablet in there. So anyway, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fold back and notice that my wrong side of the fabric is up here and here is the right side of the fabric. So my tablet is right here on the right side of the fabric. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold back, and how much you want to fold back. Now this depends completely on you. If you want it to be very snug, then you might fold something like that so you can see the tablet there. Or you can fold a little bit less so that you can have like you can't see the tablet that well. So you maybe have a little extra protection here too. So I think I'm going to do that. And I'm going to fold it something like this. So for this thing, you need to use pins because you're going to sew it like this. So what I'm doing here is I'm just putting pins on. You probably can't see it yet. I started from the other end. But I'm putting pins on here, just making sure that that it holds there. One more pin. There. So now I folded that. And now I can take my tablet off, put it away, because I have in here what I will need to do is I'm going to just do the folding on the other side, and I'm going to do approximately as much. Again, I'm really a very big fan of not doing exact stuff. I eyeball things. So that's what I'm doing here too, and that's why I can do this patternless sewing. If you want to, you can measure this, how much you did here, but I'm just gonna eyeball it. So I'm going to the other side. And I think I did approximately something like that, maybe a little less, something like that. So now I'm going to pin that. Like I said, if you like exact measurements, you can always measure and do exact measurements, but I'm going to eyeball it. So I'm just going to pin this. And obviously after I have pinned this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that my sides match. If I find any discrepancies there, then I will obviously redo the pinning. But I will make sure that my both sides match here. And then I'm going to, once more, I'm going to put my tablet in here because I want to make sure. I'm going to put my tablet in here and fold the fabric on top and push the tablet there so that it so that the tablet is right here on the bottom. and I'm gonna make sure and see if the folds seem nice. So to me they seem nice enough. There's a little coverage here, a little protection here. So to me this looks like a perfect fit for my tablet. So what I'm going to do next, I'm going to go to the sewing machine and then we're going to continue. So now I've moved to my sewing table and I have my fabric here. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to sew a straight line right here on the edge. And if you remember, we turned it back. So I'm going to sew approximately in the middle of that. So that's going to give us a very nice seam. And I'm going to do it on both sides. So I'm going to sew the straight line here, and then I'm going to do it also here on the other side. And after that, we're going to put in our batting. So here I am. I have finished sewing both ends like this. And the next step is going to put in the batting. And I've already done that in a way that I have pinned a piece of batting onto my fabric, but I have only pinned the middle. Let me show you here. I've only pinned the middle. I've left the ends unpinned. So both ends here are unpinned, and my batting, as you can see, it's bigger than the piece of fabric. That is simply to help you because the batting tends to shift a little bit as you sew. That's why I have quite a lot of pins in here. And since it tends to shift a little bit, it's much better to have more batting than you need so that you won't end up with an edge that looks something like that the batting has kind of drawn into the middle, and there's not enough batting everywhere. So as you can see, my batting is bigger than my piece of fabric. And the reason why I have not pinned the ends, let me put my camera down and show you, is because here at the ends we have this thing. And what I want to do is I want to cut my batting off here so that it matches with this edge here. And the way that I'm going to do that, I can just eyeball it. It's really not that important. I can just eyeball it, or if you want to, you can get a fabric marker and you can fold this back, or you can even do that. When you take a fabric marker and you put in your measurement device here, and then you draw a line here with your fabric marker, and then you know where you should cut your batting. Let me see if I have my marker here, or if I put it somewhere else. Let me see. Okay, it's over there. I'll be right back. Okay, so here I am with my fabric marker. And this is my quilting measurement device, whatever you call this. So anyway, what you can do is you can just place it there, just pretty much where the end, this edge here ends. Like that, you can see through the batting. Of course, if your batting is really, really thick, then you might want to fold it back and make the mark that way. So I'm just going to put my measurement device there, and here is my pin, and I need to stand up to do this, and then I'm just going to draw a line here. My marker is doesn't have a lot of ink left, I've noticed, so I need to do this several times. There we go. But that's a line, and now I know where to cut, so I'm going to cut that off because you don't need batting here at the top. Now, if you want to, you can do that, but I just don't like it there, so that's why I cut it off from here. So I just cut off along the line here. There we go. Oops, I don't know how much you saw of it. But there you can see I've cut it to end approximately with the end, and I'm going to do the same on the other side. And after I've done that, what I will do is I will sew this, and I will sew here close to the edge right here, and then I will cut all along the side here, down here, obviously leaving a little bit of seam allowance there, but you don't really need the seam allowance there. You can go pretty close if you want to, because this is not the finished seam that's going to be on here. There's going to be another seam there, so the seam that you put here really doesn't matter, other than to attach the batting here. So I haven't done this side yet, but I'm going to sew there and all around it. So let me do the sewing and then come back to show you how I've done it. My batting is right now in place, and I cut it here from the edge, so because it was coming all over, so I cut it so I have a nice little line here, but you don't actually have to cut it at this point. So what I also did was I did this, if you can see it from this side, I did a little sewing. I just sewed this like a cross from corner to corner, on all corners. So I got this little cross here. That's just for decoration pretty much. You don't have to do that. Okay, so the next step is to again get your tablet, and this time I'm going to turn it around so that the right side is up, and I'm going to place my tablet in here, and I'm going to fold it on top. Make sure that this here is the middle, and I can do that by just making sure that the edges here they kind of meet each other there, like that. Okay, so then I turn it like this, and as you can see I have a lot of extra here, and that's what we're going to get rid of. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take my marker, and I'm going to take my measuring device here, and I'm going to make sure that my tablet is inside here, approximately in the middle, so I have approximately as much extra on both sides. And what am I going to do is I'm going to turn it over, or maybe I'll do it this way. I think that's easier. And I'm going to draw a little line here, but before I do that, I want to see how deep this is here, how thick my tablet is, like that. And then I'm going to eyeball. I'm going to do eyeballing here, but if you want to, you can always do a little bit measuring. And I'm going to approximately the thickness of my tablet, I'm going to add here, and a little extra. So I think that one would be good. And then I'm going to draw a line here, something like that. Nice little line there, and carefully going to turn it around and do the same on this side. Just the thickness, approximately there, and draw a little line there. Oops, I think I need to get a new fabric marker. So anyway, there we go. Now I have these lines here, and now I can take my tablet away, because you want to keep that safe. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pin this. Just take some pins, and I'm just gonna, I'm just gonna pin it together from the edges here. You can pin it from the middle as well. Doesn't have to be from the edges here. So I'm just going to pin this. Just the basic idea here is that you have something here, you have some pins here to hold it. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to sew along these lines here. So I'm going to sew along that line and this line here. Sew the lines that I just drew. So I'll do that and then I'll come back. So here I have finished sewing my lines on both sides. And the next step is I'm going to cut off the extra here. So you can see I have pretty much extra. You can't really leave this much extra there. It will eat the space. So what I'm going to do is simply take my scissors, and I'm going to leave a little bit here because I want to do a zigzag stitch on that. So I need to leave a little space so that I can fit my zigzag stitch in there. And you really need a good pair of fabric scissors here. There we go. And this is obviously, if you find something to do with this, then great. Right now I don't have any ideas for that, but maybe you do. So just going to cut this off like that. As you can see, my cross pattern here, it goes a little haywire here. So, but that doesn't really matter. I don't really care about that. It's just fine. The basic thing is that I have secured my batting here. Now, what I'm going to do for the corners here, I'm going to do, just cut them like that. Just make them, that is the step to take to make the corners kind of easier to, when you turn this to the right side, they're going to be easier to push out when you do that. So anyway, the last step then is to do a zigzag pattern here. So I'm just going to go right here with my zigzag stitch. I'll do that and then I'll come back for the final look of our tablet pouch. And your pouch is finished now. So here is my zigzag stitch that simply stops the edges here from unraveling. And the next step is to turn this to the right side. Very simple thing to do. And of course, now we have this soft batting here inside. I don't want to cover that. I know that some of you might want to have fabric on the inside too, but I wanted to make this a simple project, even fit for beginners. And since we will very rarely be looking inside this pouch, so that's why I thought I don't care if there's some batting showing in there. That's just fine for me. So here's the pouch now. I still need to press it with an iron to make it completely like nice and straight and smooth. But here it is now, and the batting here is actually very, very soft. So it's very good for your tablet. It's a very nice soft feeling there. And here we go. My pouch goes in just fine. And there it is now. This pouch is not as snug as my other pouch, so I could have maybe taken a little bit more from the edges here. If you want to make it very snug, then you might want to, at the point where you are making the side seams here, you want to do the seams very close to your tablet. But this is just fine, and I think it's very cute. And I might actually end up having a button here so that I could close it with a button. I don't know if that's possible, but let's see. But it works just fine right now, and this is the most important thing, is that there's no dirt and no dust is going in there right now when it's in the pouch. So I hope you enjoyed watching this tutorial, and if you have a tablet, make a pouch for it. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time. Bye.